Hello, I'm Ryan Hanley, and in this video I'm going to tell you a little bit about a new comparative module on race resistance and decolonisation. So in this module we're going to be looking in a comparative global perspective at how race and racism have been understood in various different contexts and societies around the world throughout history. Our main focus chronologically will be on the period since the early periods of colonization. So largely, for this year, we'll be largely interested in the early modern and modern periods rather than the medieval period. Now we're interested in how ideas about race, ethnicity and human difference have been used to organise relationships between different groups of people and how they've been used to arrange dynamics of power within and between different societies. But what we're really keen to do here that's new in this comparative module is to focus on how these ideas and ways of organising society around race, how they've been resisted and challenged specifically by those who were the intended subordinate groups in these new systems of hierarchical organisation. And the way that we're going to do that is to use some post-colonial and decolonial scholarship and some post-colonial and decolonial theory to help us to make sense of the basic structures and functions of how race and resistance and decoloniality all work. So if you have encountered before post-colonial scholars, people like Homi Bhabha or Edward Said, or even sociologists of race like Stuart Hall or Paul Gilroy or Hazel Carby or anybody like that, then this will be your opportunity to put some of that post-colonial theory to use in comparative historical perspective. Now, because this is a comparative module, the teaching team changes each year, but just as an example of some of the types of specific topics that we might cover, I've just put 5 here from a much longer list, but we'll be interested in, for example, race and the states. So how do societies like South Africa and Jim Crow era United States use question of race to separate out their societies and to try to control interactions between different groups. We might be interested in the relationship between race and gender, and we might use some intersectional approaches there. So thinking about how the experiences of women differ according to the way that these ideas of race operate upon their societies, and is that different in, for example, East Asia compared to South America. We might look at indigeneity and belonging, so the idea of being born in a particular place, of inheriting a particular set of perceived racial characteristics might affect your relationship to a particular geographical area. We might be looking at cultural forms of resistance, about how post-colonial fiction, for instance, has inflected politics and people's senses of identity in different parts of the world throughout history. Or we might also look at race and populism. We might think about how do elites mobilize these questions of race in order to again, to encourage a popular, widespread response from one group with the intention of othering another group. So these are just some example topics there. What we'll cover in seminars will depend partly on you, of course, because you'll be leading the seminars in the second term of this module, so you'll have an opportunity to follow your own interests and use some of these skills and ideas to lead the discussion in the ways that interest you. So that's just a very, very brief overview of this exciting, brand new module running for the first time this year. If you have any questions or queries about it, then please do not hesitate to get in touch with me using the email address that's on your screen now.